everybody and welcome to Parsley Sidings. Now it's been too long since I've been here doing anything. I was waiting for stuff to arrive. One of the things that I was waiting to arrive, you can see here, which is that little culvert bridge. I wanted to build that so that I could get the track down. So we're now in a position where we can glue the track down and get it operational. So this video, whilst it won't be visually the most exciting video you'll ever see on a model railway build, it's going to be an important milestone. We're going to get all the foam underlay laid for the track to sit on. Now that we've got the bridge in, then we can get all the track all wired up, so we're good to go. Stick around for this one, how to wire up a DC layout, and let's crack on. So this is the little bridge that I was waiting for ages. What this has allowed me to do, now that it's built and painted and everything else is ready, I've cut a little bit out the track bed here, set it in. It's not at the right height, but it's in below the track bed, so I can get the height set. On top of the upper level here on the track bed is lay the foam for the track to sit on top. As can be seen, the foam on the platform road and the run round road and the head shunt has already been laid, as is the siding, but this siding is not yet done, so I'm going to utilise this to show you how to fix down this foam here. As it's a polystyrene foam, basically I'm using Yoo-hoo here for, it says for styrofoam and expanded polystyrene. Now it's a contact adhesive, so what we've got to do is firstly get the track out of the way. I've marked up where I want the track to lay, and I'm going to put a bead down here. I'm going to run the foam to about here, back again, and with the scrap bit of foam here I'm just going to spread it out so it can dry off in the air. I'm going to take it to there. What we have here, because we go around the curve, this will try to kink. And it's already got a slot already marked in. Here you can see it there. No, I just flex that open and you can see. So what we do is we slit it down there for the length of the curve. We're going to want this much, I reckon. Slice that with a pair of scissors. So we now have just the length that I want. For the length of the curve, I'm just going to run up the slit to about there. That'll do nicely. We're going to trim off at an angle, lining up the points where we join up. Chop, chop, chop. Just like that. And on the bottom of this, because it's a contact adhesive, I'm just going to again run a bead, spread it out. We'll just wait for that to dry off. Now these had time to flash off and dry a little bit, we're going to feed this in here and run it. Start on that end there, start on that end there, and we'll start to go around the curve. And glue it down. And if it's a little bit long, like this is, we'll just snip a tiny bit out. And that is now all ready, nice and flat, for the track to be laid permanently on the top. Now that the foam is all glued down, ready for the track to be fixed to it, we're going to secure the controller to the front board of the baseboard here, ready to receive the wires as we feed it all in. Going to be a simple little job. Jigsaw and drill, just cut out a rectangle hole the size of this line on the back here. Dead easy. So now we have a hole of which the controller fits in nicely. So now we've got that prepared, we'll glue down the track on the top. Basically all I'm going to use is PVA glue, a bit of polystyrene, just spread it around and lay it on, keeping clear of the point switches, which is why we left the gaps in the foam so we don't glue the switches down. I'm just going to put a generous bead all the way along here, wherever we're going to stick the track down. And we'll put a bit along this siding. Get the fire and spread it out so it's a nice even coating. This one's not rocket science, doesn't take long at all. And then we lay the track gently in place. Double checking, perfect. And eye it up along the track to make sure it's all nice and straight. And we'll just let that sit there and dry. Now the track is totally dry, it's time to wire it up. All the rear rails will be fed with the black wire, and all the front rails on the loops and the side and everything will be fed by red. That way the polarity will always be the same throughout the layout. Going to directly solder it onto the rail, and we're just going to feed them through this hole which I've drilled in the board to the back of the controller. The equipment I'm going to be using is a fiberglass pen. That is for scrubbing the rail before I want to solder to it, so to make sure it's clean. And I've also got a no clean flux pen to doubly certain make sure it's going to be clean. Resin cord solder wire to make sure it does stick to the clean rail. A bog standard 25 watt soldering iron and your soldering iron station. And because this is basic dead simple model railway wiring, we are literally going to put a feed on the siding, a feed on the loop, a feed on the station platform. There'll be one up on the head shunt end, there'll be one between the points and one each on the little siding there and the branch line. Let's crack on. First job is to turn on the soldering iron, then wait. We got to make sure that that is properly hot before we use it. Otherwise you end up not having enough heat in the iron and you just try to melt the sleepers and everything around where you're trying to solder onto. So job one, soldering iron in the stand, turn it on and come back in a bit. Ow! The first thing we're going to do is tin the bare strands of the cable that we're going to use, and that is literally put the soldering iron under the wire and apply some solder. Simple as that. So I'm literally going to just clean with the fiberglass pen the face of the rail to make it nice and clean, to remove any tarnish. So we now have a clean spot. I'm going to add some flux from my flux pen, and then I'm going to add, same as I did with the wire, tin the rail. So quick high temperature, now it's all warmed up nicely, and quick flash like that. I'm now going to bend the end of my wire to an L shape and attach it. Now no more solders needed because there's plenty on the wire and there's plenty on the track, so it's literally just combining the two bits of solder together. Let that cool. Wire attached. I'll now repeat that process on all the other wires. We've now got all the wires in, 2 pairs for each location. I'm literally just going to run them back along the layout. To the hole and feed them through. 2 pairs from each track up here, 2 pairs from there, or sorry, 1 pair from there, pair from there, pair from there, pair from up there and a pair from here, all going together under there. What I've done with the soldering iron, I've literally just run round here and made a little trough for the wires to lay in, and just to secure them in place I'm going to come around with my hot glue and just a little spot each here and there just to hold it all in place. Just to help keep it neat and tidy. So I'll flip this on its back and we'll get the controller connected. I've now screwed the controller on the front of the panel. We now have all the wires through the bottom of the baseboard, and we can't fit all these wires into the controller. So what I've done is I've been to my local electronics shop and bought a pair of buzz bars. A couple of holes drilled in and screwed. We now have a nice terminal bar there. So we'll attach the black ones to this side. I'll fit this one on here and attach the red ones to that side, and then we'll just quickly connect up the controller wires. As this is only 12 volts and obviously not mains electricity, you know, an exposed buzz bar, terminal bar, isn't going to cause us any problems or risks from electric shocks. So it's no safety issue having exposed bars. Let's get the wires out from underneath. 2. Controller, luckily, has a plug. So I can fit this without being hampered by the top board. Just add it on flying lead and then we'll plug it back in underneath. If I can see where it is, there it is. Goes back under there. So we'll do that last. And there we have it. All the black wires, all the red wires, and a black and a red wire in the plug connected for the controller. Now, once we plug this in, because we're DC, if I rotate the knob to the right and the loco goes to the left, all we have to do is unplug this, swap the black and red wire over so it feeds in the opposite direction. So all that is left to do is to plug this in here. If I can see it, there we go. Plug that in there, and the power supply also plugs in the back of the controller, and that is job done. But all the wires here, it's all held in with spots of hot glue, so it's all neat and tidy. And we'll turn it on. There on. I haven't got a short circuit light flashing, so let's grab a loco. And we'll place him in the station there. How's that? You can see that. So let's see if it works. Well, it works, but in the wrong direction. So as I say, I'll pull that plug out and swap the red and black wire over. We'll give it another go. Hopefully with the 2 wires reversed, it should now go the same way as the knob. There we go. So now we know we go that way. Bring it back. All good. And we'll have a little drive around the yard now just to double check that all the tracks work correctly. They should do because we've got no short circuits, but we'll check the operation. Well, there we have it, guys. The track is all wired up. Well, you know what this means. Now we get on with the detailing. Now I've got some bits. I have a station kit. I have ground shunt signals, signal box interior kit, a little pagoda kit, signal box kit, water tank, station fencing, 1, 2, 3 signals. Now the next video we're going to look at some of the positioning of these items, where they're going to go, and start making things look interesting instead of just a bit of foam. So basically we need to get things like the water tower, which has got electrical connections, and the 3 signals, those located first before we can really start getting on with the scenery. And that is the next video. So take care and see you soon. Bye for now. Good enough for Pacific, good enough for me.